Welcome back everyone, Dustin here again, Average Guy Hi-Fi, with another video that I wasn't really preparing on making. So, as you guys will remember, about 5 months ago I purchased a Marantz SR7013 open boxed from Best Buy. It has an MSRP of about $2,200. I ended up picking it up for $1,250 and been perfectly happy with it all up until about 3 weeks ago, I would say, that the Marantz started shutting off on me. Just kind of randomly. At first, it was starting off, it would shut off every hour or so. I just didn't know what was going on. It wasn't giving me any warnings. It would just shut off and then have like the protect light on, and then I would turn it back on, and then it would pop back on, and just totally everything was fine. So it's had a very easy life. That's another reason that I'm making this video, is that I had a AC Infinity T10 fan sitting on top of it. I only had 3 HDMI cables plugged into it. I'm not using any of the internal amplifiers because you guys know I have that Marantz MM7055 5-channel amplifier. So again, this thing was basically acting as a processor. And when that issue popped up, I was actually pretty surprised. I've been pretty lucky. I buy, as you guys know, I'm kind of a bargain hunter. That's part of it too. So I want to be full disclosure that this was an open box, but I'm always looking for good deals. So I bought refurbished receivers. I bought open box. My last Denon 3300, X3300 performed flawlessly for 3 years, which is about as long as I've ever kept a receiver. Open box, Best Buy, Magnolia section. So a great experience there. So I was a little disappointed when this one started shutting off on me. So I reached out to Marantz to try to figure out a good solution for me, and basically what they wanted me to do, there's no local certified Marantz dealers here in the Seattle area, so what I would have to do is, at my expense, box this Marantz 5-month-old Marantz receiver up, ship it off to an authorized repair center, and with all of the activity going on in the home theater world, the repair center has a 2-month delay. And that's not including the shipping time or anything like that. So I would be out about 3 months without a receiver that I purchased 5 months ago. So I called Marantz to try to come up with, some type of a solution. Maybe I'm spoiled. I don't feel like I'm a difficult person to deal with, and I know that things happen, and I wasn't like mad or anything like that. So I was hoping that maybe they could give me a replacement and then box this one up and ship it back to them. I think SVS might have spoiled me. Their customer service is top notch. It's the customer service matches the quality of the product and the pricing. And I guess I was a little disappointed in Marantz's answer. They're like, nope, we can't do that. You got to ship it off to a authorized repair center at my expense, and then just wait for them to repair it, and then they'll ship it back to you at no charge shipping to me. So that part was kind of nice. But I got real frustrated. That was just unacceptable to me, I would say. So I reached out to my friends at Best Buy Magnolia. Again, I give them a lot of business, and luckily they're going to cover the shipping back to them, back to the repair center. And then so I'm out. I don't have to cover the finding a box, because it didn't come with a box. So I had to source a box, pack it all up, all that type of stuff. So they're going to handle all that for me. So that's very good of them to do it. I was hoping they would swap it out either, but I think that just with everything, all the pressures on the supply chains, how many receivers are selling out, all of that type of stuff, it's just been, they just can't help me out, which is, again, understandable. Not mad at them. I'm still going to go back to that Best Buy Magnolia. I buy from them some nice stuff, so I'll continue to frequent them. But it made me frustrated. Again, I'm pretty easygoing, so and maybe you guys tell me, but if I was looking at this kind of from the wrong angle, but really what I wanted was just them to make it right, what I felt was right, especially since it's under half a year old and all of that, but it just didn't end up working out. So in a moment of frustration, I ended up picking up a replacement. Since I'm going to be without this Marantz receiver for roughly 3 months, I needed something, obviously, for the channel. This is what I do, so I'm reviewing speakers, setting them up, swapping them out, all of that type of stuff, and I can't be without a receiver for 3 months. So basically, I pulled the trigger on this, and many of you probably, well, unless you're kind of been around the hobby for a little while, this right here is a Lexicon RV-6, and again, after getting off the phone with Marantz, being a little bit frustrated with that situation, I kind of said, well, I'm kind of done with Marantz. So I just sold my MM7055 to a really nice person. So that amplifier is gone. I'm going to send this SR7013 off to get factory certified repaired. And when it comes back in, I'm going to sell this one off. And then this is the Lexicon RV-6 that I'm going to replace it with. So the main reason for me switching, obviously the supply chain is really limited. If you're trying to shop for deals on receivers, things like that, there's hardly any stock going on right now. So that's not the only reason, though. That was just a part of it. I looked at tried to get some Yamaha, the 3080. There was other options that I was considering, but obviously Facebook, knowing what the algorithms, they sent me an ad for this from Audio Advice, and I ended up picking up this Lexicon RV-6 for, it's a $3,900 receiver. So this is a 7.2 receiver, but it has, you can add 4 height channels to it, but you have to add amplifiers. So it has 7 internal amplifiers, and I ended up picking this up for $2,000 basically. So not money that I wanted to spend, wasn't real happy doing it, but I think in the long run, selling the amplifier, selling the SR7013 when it comes back after being repaired, it'll basically be a wash. I lose an amplifier, but I gain a really high quality receiver. And this has Dirac Live. So this is something that I've really wanted to have been diving into. Again, I think that Odyssey is just long in the tooth. I think that Marantz and Denon have kind of let that go a little bit long with Arc from Anthem. You got Dirac Live. There's some really nice room correction softwares that, from what I understand, I haven't tested it yet. This video is just me showing you these two side by side and letting you know why I ended up switching a 5-month-old receiver as high quality as this Marantz out. And everything I've read online, people are just really, they're like, oh, it's once you go from kind of that Odyssey to something like Dirac or Arc, then you're going to realize just how good room correction can be. So those are kind of my thoughts there. Again, I didn't want to make this video, and I'm not super mad at Marantz. I know that this might have been a one-off. You know, I've read so many. I did tons of research before I purchased it. Everything seemed to be super positive, but I'm going to always tell you when things go wrong in this channel, just so you guys know when I buy a subwoofer that's blown, whatever. Because again, I'm kind of bargain hunting, but when you're buying them from an authorized brick and mortar store, I expected a little bit more. But again, let me know if I'm being a little unreasonable here. But I felt that, you know, even at $1,250 being an open box that should have come with the same warranty, there would have been a little bit more to get this handled. So I just wanted to show you guys these two side by side before I haul this Marantz into the Magnolia and let them ship it off to me. But obviously different looks. I really like the look of the Marantz. You know, that little blue window I think looks pretty sharp. But this Lexicon is a pretty good looking receiver as well too. They're roughly about the same height, but you'll see here, this is a big receiver as well. They make receivers that are much smaller than the SR7013, but as you can see from the size difference, this Lexicon is definitely a larger unit. And then I'll spin it around here so you guys can kind of see the back. Again, this one only has 7 internal amplifiers, but I really like the fact that Lexicon is one of those old school companies that gives you actual power ratings. So this is a very beefy, much more powerful amplifier than the Marantz SR7013, which is why I was comfortable getting rid of that really nice 7055 amplifier that I just love. But it gives you 7 channels driven specs, which is 90 watts. That's, I mean, some of you out there going, well, I can get 135 watt, but that's really 1 channel or 2 channels driven. As soon as you start dividing up that power, it starts dropping pretty drastically in some cases. So my speakers would basically be getting more power with this receiver than the Marantz. But again, this is a $3,900 MSRP receiver. This is a $2,200 MSRP receiver. So these are things that I would kind of expect from a higher quality product like this. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a look there. Obviously the HDMI section, nowadays all of these receivers are way more overkill than I kind of need, because you guys know I usually use about a 5.2 system in this room, but this is kind of future protecting myself. If I can move out of this place, get something with like a dedicated theater, I'll do this and then add amplifiers for the heights and stuff like that. So there's the back of them. And again, I'm going to be putting that T10 fan on top of this Lexicon. I'm going to do a little bit of wire management. I'm going to give you guys a video on my impressions of this Lexicon as soon as I get a chance to get it hooked up and everything. But I wanted to get this video out to explain to you why I'm swapping out a really high quality receiver like this SR7013. Only 5 months into ownership. Generally speaking, I'll keep a receiver for a couple years, and then I start getting a little bit squirrely because the like they just keep adding all kinds of sound features, Dolby Vision, IMAX, and and then I don't really necessarily always need that stuff, but it makes me, they do it on purpose because it gets us to buy the stuff sooner, so the cycle seems much shorter. And that's kind of what I always tell people, like if you look at the receiver or your processor is kind of like the computer of your home theater system, like computer technology, it's just grows rapidly. So buy really good speakers that you're going to keep a very long time, and then just always kind of plan ahead to replace your receiver every, I would say 4 years is probably pretty reasonable for most people. I'm a bit of a nut, so I usually do it more often, just try to stay ahead of the curve. But that's why I decided to pull the trigger on this thing. $2,000, you guys. It's still available out there. I paid full price, so it's not like my gigantic channel here got me any benefits from this. There's hardly any reviews on this Lexicon as well too. So I read through AVS forums. I read a couple of the reviews. A couple of the reviews are really negative. So I'm like, all right, we'll just give it a shot. So the future video will be me of giving you guys my impressions of the Lexicon, and then also my impressions of Dirac Live, which I'm really excited about. So tonight I'm actually going to go over there, hook this thing up, and then probably just stick to the general settings first, read the big manual, get used to Dirac. I've watched some YouTube videos, try to prepare myself, and then I'll make a video of my overall impressions of this receiver. And these are two, the price difference is quite large between these two, but I would imagine that people can cross-shop these because they're more towards the higher-end home theater receivers out there. So that's going to be coming up here next. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm in a different room. I spent the entire weekend logging. That room right there is the one I used to record in. So I basically swapped bedrooms to this to my film room here. So I put the film room in the bedroom and put the bedroom in the film room. I needed more space, as you guys know. I've been complaining about it. So this weekend's project, now that I got the room swapped, I'm going to be kind of getting this all dialed in. I'm getting a storage unit, having my nephew come over and help me out, load that thing up, and then I'll be much more free to make videos. My 2 channels actually sitting right here now, so I pulled it out of the living room so I can have a dining room table like a normal human. Things are changing around here, so I've been very busy. I'm very sorry that the videos have taken a little bit longer, but wanted to get this one out. The next video coming up here, well, I got a Martin Logan Motion 10s that I'm going to be reviewing. I actually got some JBL Studio 530 BK bookshelf speakers that I'm going to be reviewing, but I also picked up an 86-inch LG TV, so I'm going to do a size comparison and then let you guys know if I'm going to choose an 86-inch TV due to the size of it, or if I'm going to stick with my 65-inch LG C9 OLED TV. So I'm going to do a size comparison, and then whatever I show you at the end of the video, it'll be which one I ended up keeping. So those videos are all coming up here. So again, if you guys like this type of content, I'm just going to shoot you straight. I'm going to tell you what I'm paying for stuff. I'm going to tell you experiences like this. I have, this is a little bit of a turnoff for me, Marantz. I wouldn't want to steer you away from Marantz or anything like that. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to post it up there so you guys can kind of judge for yourselves. And then if this is the type of content you guys like, I would just appreciate if you'd subscribe, maybe help me spread the word. Again, we're out past 4,000 subscribers in that first year, so that was just amazing. Again, thank you guys for all the help. My name is Dustin, and the name of the channel is Average Guy Hi-Fi.